My father was the hardest working person in the room. He rarely took a day off, but he never worked a day in his life. He was an industry giant and founded the trade association, the TIA, that we're part of, and I was recently chair of the board for. His writings alone stand as tall as I do on the advocating for the industry and educating the industry. He also co-founded the CTB program that thousands of brokers today study to become experts in this industry. Those are big shoes to fill, and I don't know that coming into this I could ever hope to fill them. But what he did give me is he gave me this lesson. He said, always be a student of this industry. Deeply be involved with your customers. Deeply be involved with your carriers. And then in the middle, deeply be involved with this industry. And while the world has changed quite a bit in the 20 years or so that I've been in charge here, those lessons are the things that stick with me, and that passion and drive and the discipline that he has.
He made brokerage a viable business. Back in the day, carriers would tell us, Tucker, we don't treat you like a broker, we treat you like a customer. Now that may seem like a backhanded compliment, but back in the day, that was a compliment. We strove to have carriers feel that way. And we had good relationships for years and years and years, and we were very successful in maintaining and sustaining those relationships. But that was certainly part of Bill Tucker's philosophy: treat your carriers like you treat your customers. And that stuck with me for a lot of years, and we still do that today. That culture has moved on to today, and we've always been better for it. I can say that Bill was for me, he was a visionary, he was a teacher, and he was my mentor. And I dare say that the person that I am today, the man that I am today, has a lot to do with working with Bill Tucker and knowing him also as a friend.
I started working for Bill Tucker in 1985. During that time, Bill navigated the company through deregulation while being one of the first family-owned brokerages in the U.S. Bill also started and founded the TIA. Bill Tucker was always thinking about the next step and how to take the company to the next level. He created our first CMS system. Bill created an atmosphere in the office where we were all family and truly made you feel that we were. Bill taught me many lessons along the way that I still use in my professional career and at home. I thank Bill for his guidance and knowledge and advice that he bestowed upon me. It was a privilege to work under Bill Tucker's leadership.
My desk was right outside of his office door. Most people would greet you with like good morning or how are you doing, but they wouldn't really want to know the answer. Not Bill Tucker. He would say, Rita, are you ready to rock and roll? And he would want to know the answer. He wanted to engage with you. He was involved in the details of the company. He wanted to know what we were doing, not just the accounting department, every department.
Bill Tucker is one of those people in my mind that did so much for the economy of the United States, but you won't find his name in the history books necessarily. And that's unfortunate because, he taught me. I was in a position to do things based upon his recommendations. That's what it's all about. So that's why I jumped at the chance to say some things about Bill Tucker. And the first call was, do you remember Bill Tucker? Of course I remember Bill Tucker. I mean, he's a legend among those of us who actually participated in the whole deregulation movement.
He was building up and straightening out and putting a sense of customer service and integrity into that industry. And some of his people would say, Bill, you're building up our competitors. He said, if we can build up our competitors and we can do it right, we'll get 5 times the amount of business we have. And it happened. He helped them learn how to do it the right way. And by the way, he was right. When it got to the point everybody understood how it was going to work and you knew nobody was going to steal your freight or run away with the money, all of a sudden there was a lot more freight.
Bill was leading edge of computers. I mean, a lot of trucking companies at the time were still doing everything with cards, putting cards in the, everything Tucker was getting more and more computerized. Loads were being put into computers. Bill, of course, had a degree in computer engineering, and he was kind of the forefront of getting into computers in transportation. We were so big in the 90s in government that he used to tease me about buying a brownstone in DC, because we were the primary carrier for FEMA, did IRS, we did GSA.
TIA became a stronger voice in Washington, and Bill was always right in the forefront, whether it was written conversation, whether it was vocal, whether it was one-on-one. He was always an advocate for our industry. It took a good number of years to get out of the vision that the brokers were a bunch of guys that hung around truck stops with quarters in their pockets, just trying to make sales and move freight. Bill wanted to change that perception, and he did. He was very, very active. He was a very vocal advocate for the brokerage industry.
Story about my father, and just from the earliest, I wasn't even born yet, but he always had a knack for stepping out of his comfort zone. The first time I became aware of him stepping out of his comfort zone was when he left his passion in trying to start a computer business in New York City. He left that because he saw what his father was doing, and it just began to pique his interest more and more and more, to the point where he decided he would take over the business from his father. He didn't know a thing about it. He immersed himself in his own education and really taught himself how this business worked and so forth. He was somebody that continually pressed forward and make progress, learn new things. He called himself a student of industry, and he had a lot of humility. People thought he was the master, the expert in everything, brokerage, freight transportation, and he frankly probably was, but he never referred to himself that way. He said, I am a student of industry. I'm constantly learning, and if you don't think that you're constantly learning and you think you have all the answers, you don't, right? So there was a lot of valuable lessons that he taught me. My dad really stepped out of his comfort zone, and asking people, himself and me and his other employees, and inspiring them to step out of their comfort zone and learn new things was really a gift that he had.